Welcome to Pardon the Penetration. I'm Jay.
And I'm T.
What do we have this week?
This week we have another topic that was brought to you by audience request.
Where do you be getting these audience requests?
Get them from Twitter. Well, one of them was actually my frat brother, my line brother. Yeah.
Okay, because
he actually asked me personally about that one.
I normally just retweet your tweets, so they must send it to you.
Yeah, because you just retweet them and people,
Because you got the juice, I just be trying to piggyback off of
coming
it.
from you're the
I
person,
just be trying to piggyback
stop
off
lying.
of it.
You're the person who gets 17K impressions. I get like 2. That's not.
Let that hurt go, bro.
Yeah, it's fine. No, but this one actually came from Joy. Shout out to Joy.
Shout out to Joy. Joy always supports us, and we really appreciate it.
Yes. So this actually came because of when the hurricane was coming. I actually tweeted about it because fantasy football. I'm big into fantasy football. I was kind of upset because our draft day got changed to like a Friday at like 12 a.m. in the morning, 12:15 in the morning. So she replied to it and she said this would be a good talk for the next podcast for those of us who are unfamiliar with changes due to the possibility of natural disasters. And she told us to stay safe.
Oh, okay, that is dope. Well, thank you, Joy. Good luck. I think she's doing 100 Days of Code.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
More power to y'all. I thought about 100 Days of InfoSec, but I'm like, I didn't know exactly what
it was.
Talk about
what is
400 days.
I know. Like, I haven't tweeted anything security. I know I'm going to lose my followers.
Yeah, I've been slacking a little bit. I try and, like, put it out there.
I don't tweet for y'all. Twitter free. But, yeah, good luck to Joy and 100 Days of Code. I'm good. What is
PSF it? Ruined us with code.
Like, I have PTSD from Java and C++. I'm good.
Yeah. So the topic this week, I would say, is business continuity and disaster recovery planning. Okay.
So when we're talking about business continuity planning and disaster recovery planning, this is just a high level. Right. Trent and I do not work specifically with this. I know I've done incident response, but I've never had to create a business continuity plan or a disaster recovery plan.
I haven't yet. It'll probably be on my plate as soon as my boss hears this. So
so he's talking about. Go ahead.
So for those of you who don't know, business continuity revolve around making sure that the business is able to function in the event that it ever loses any type of power, any type of operational functions, whether it be natural disasters or even things like a server goes down or a ransomware or actual attack. So it ensures that personnel and assets are protected, able to function quickly. When you create it, you want to make sure that you do a risk assessment and go over all your risks.
Okay, let's talk about that first. Okay. What is a risk assessment?
Risk assessment is something I don't want to do. Like, it's a big task.
So normally how do we even get here? When you get to your business continuity plan, it's most likely a derivative of your incident response plan, which comes from your risk assessment. So risk assessment, sometimes called a vulnerability assessment, is basically an assessment that's done that's look at the whole organization, and you look at your different systems. So when I say systems, that could be the software, technology,
could be even
people,
HR related stuff,
everything physical, anything possible. So basically you look at each of these systems and you determine what could possibly go wrong. Like, you spit out all the worst case scenarios. Like, what if Trent loses his badge, somebody steals his badge, he has access to sensitive data.
Right. What if I'm no longer there and I don't have the knowledge to.
Right. What if you lose Trent? What happens? What if you don't do the proper termination process after somebody leaves? What if you have a virus on your computer? Like, you go through all these crazy stuff
with a fine tooth comb just to make sure.
What happens if a tornado comes up and picks up our data center or the office today? That from there you figure out what happens, and then you got to figure out the likelihood that this will happen, give it a number.
You got to put in you got to calculate it based on the matrix.
And then with the likelihood and the impact, you put it in that risk matrix to calculate some crazy number. And then you have to decide what your risk tolerance is going to be. Risk tolerance for companies look different, but most of them include accepting the risk, mitigating the risk, or transferring the risk. Yeah. I think there's one that I'm missing. I can't remember, but it's unique to each organization. But that's basically how your business continuity plans comes through this risk assessment?
Yes. So once you determine your risk, you got to actually implement those safeguards and then test those controls. And one of the biggest things about the BCP, which is what we're going to refer to it as now, because that's a long name, is you want to make sure you periodically review it, whether you want to do it quarterly, annually. You want to at least do it annually, and then you can go about different ways you want to test things out.
So with that, what is ways to test your BCP?
So you test your BCP, I'll go through the steps. So your steps of a BCP first is you want to do, like we talked about, that business impact analysis. You want to actually discuss your recovery methods, whether you also want to determine your recovery time objective and your recovery point objective. So you want to know at what point in time are you going to be losing data? Like, is it, we get everything up to 1 hour that's going to be lost, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. And then you want to know how long it's going to take you to get back up fully operational. So it can be 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is. So after you determine that, you want to actually put together a team. So when you build your team, which is kind of like your incident response team, you can go ahead and you can do different type of scenarios. You can do a tabletop, you can do a full walkthrough, you can just do little segments just to prepare people for it.
So doing the training, definitely, most compliance does require you to do training at least annually.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, doing the exercise, whether it's a tabletop or walkthrough, it all depends on your organization, right? Yeah. So if you frequently have incidents, annually might not cut it for you, because that means that your incident response team has only gone through training once, and they most likely are going to forget what do they do in a real incident.
Yeah. What if the scenario you covered isn't the scenario that comes up? Yeah.
So quarterly definitely is better. Yeah. But if you can manage to do it more frequently, like I said, depending on what your what your risk looks like for your company.
Correct.
That's what it's based off of.
It's an all hands on deck thing.
Yeah.
You have to get every department involved in this. It's a undertaking for a task, but it's completely worth it.
Yeah. So a derivative of the business continuity plan is the disaster recovery plan, which is, like I said, a derivative, a subset. It's a comprehensive statement of actions that you will take before, during, and after a disruptive event occurs when it comes to loss of availability of information systems. So with business continuity, you're really just focusing on the overall business, and you're focusing on out of the CIA triad, you're focusing on availability out of that, right? So you want to make sure the key goal with all of this is the availability of data. But the business continuity is continuous. Yeah. Versus disaster recovery is we live in Florida, so we gonna use hurricanes, right? What happens if this hurricane gonna hit? What happens if a tornado comes, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in California? What happens if you have an earthquake and all of a sudden the data center just falls into the gap? This is the planning that you do. So there's three primary purposes that you use the disaster recovery for. That's prevention, that's before the disaster happens. There's continuity, which is during the disaster, and then there's recovery, which is after the disaster. So prevention wise, you're already planning on making sure you have your hot sites ready. You're trying to minimize the impact of a disaster as much as possible, right? So that is the prevention phase. The continuity phase is during a disaster, making sure that it's a process of maintaining your core mission critical systems and resources. And then your recovery phase is the steps that you will have to take in order to restore, right? Yeah. So what's an example? So, we do have hurricanes that come, right? So preventing that, we already have a disaster recovery plan. We have a plan that talks about what are we going to do with our employees, right? How are we going to communicate with our employees if they have to evacuate?
Right.
And then during, we want to make sure, okay, now that the disaster is here, are we outsourcing? Do we have another office that can do support?
Right. So if your office is out on the West Coast, are they sufficiently staffed? Are they able to handle the load for being able to keep the business running? Because now it's going to be some stress because you have one unit that's no longer there.
Yeah. So that is the continuity phase. And then recovery is all right, the hurricane that came and washed up the office. what do we do? How to recover from this?
Right.
And a lot of time that's when insurance comes in. So we
Yes.
talked about the risk assessment and accepting a risk, mitigating a risk, or transferring a risk. To transfer a risk would mean to transfer the responsibility of that risk over to somebody else. And that's what your insurance company is for.
Yes.
So, the office gets washed away. We contact insurance and we get that together. The key things to a disaster recovery is to make sure that you're providing the safety and well-being of people.
Yes.
So your employees,
They take top the safety of human life overtops everything.
Like,
everything
number
else
one
can be replaced
priority,
with
okay?
insurance.
So definitely that is major key, making sure that your employees are good, they can evacuate, say they're not worrying about this job if they have to leave with their family, okay? And I would hope you wouldn't expect them to come into an office that has, wires exposed, stuff like that. Another key is continual critical business operations. As we said before, making sure you have a hot site or backup disaster recovery site.
Hot site, warm site, yeah.
Yeah. Minimize immediate damage or losses. Anything you can do to stop something from happening. Establish management succession. So if you can't get in contact with the CIO, maybe if they're actually in the same city, they're getting washed away to who's the next in command, who's going to communicate, who's going to make the decisions.
That one point of failure, yeah.
Yeah. And making sure you identify critical lines of business and supporting functions. With a disaster recovery, you're doing that assessment. You know what is critical, what needs to be addressed right away. And also, a lot of organizations are required by federal law to have a disaster recovery plan.
Yeah.
An example is financial enterprises must have a business continuity plan.
Yeah, what do you do? You want your bank just to be gone one day and be like, yo, we ain't got your money?
Yeah, like, I don't know, but I'm going to need an answer. I'm going to need my money. You got to run me my money. So that would make sense that they would need to make sure our funds are available at all times. I don't care if you got a data center wherever that just got sucked into the earthquake in California.
That's why you have a secondary one on the opposite side.
When you big money like Trent, you get multiple bank accounts.
Whoa. This is you. Don't
do that. Don't do that. And then another example is the healthcare industry must comply with HIPAA requirements.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to have a disaster recovery. I mean, can you imagine going to the same doctor for all your life and then all of a sudden they don't have your
all your stuff
no more?
is gone?
Yeah.
That's
actually happened. I've seen that, where a doctor's office is shut down and then people don't have access to their files anymore.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I read about that recently.
Oh, that sucks. Well, we got to talk about a little business continuity of our own here.
What is the business continuity plan for Pardon the Penetration?
I'm out.
Just like that.
Nah. But we decided to wrap it up and call it a season. Isn't that what we're doing today?
This is the wrap-up episode for our first season of Pardon the Penetration.
It's been people don't know how long this is. Like, you guys have seen us,
from January.
But this actually came about
in September
15th.
Yeah.
We saw a picture.
We actually recorded and months before and practiced. Yeah, because this was new to us.
Yeah.
Before we actually released the episode.
We practiced a lot. We were like, okay. At first, I thought we were just gonna jump in. Justin was like, "Nah, dog. You're gonna sit here and y'all gonna just run through this."
Yeah.
And run through this.
So we've accomplished a lot.
We did, and we pushed each other. Look at this.
You push me more than I want to, because I'm not gonna lie. There's many times I'll be like, all right, I'm out. Like, I'm done. And it's been a lot. We got our first guest, even though it was last episode. But
we got our first guest.
That's progress.
Yeah, we got our first guest. We expanded our networking in the Twitter InfoSec community. You met some people out in DEF CON, Summer Hacker Camp.
Yeah, at the Blacks and Cyber meetup. It's just so amazing meeting people that's like, oh, I actually watch your podcast.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for all the support. Like, we didn't think it would be like this. Like, y'all actually, for all the people that retweet us religiously, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate it, because the reach matters. Retweeting, liking, commenting, that means a lot to us.
It means the world. Like, I had one guy actually reach out, like, because you tweeted that I passed my certification. So this one guy Pete, can't pull it up now, but Peter, he actually reached out to me, asking me, what did I do? I actually reached back out to him, told him some of my stuff, and then like a couple weeks later, he messaged me, he's like, "Hey, dude, I passed my Security Plus," and just, it felt good. Like that's who I gave a shout out with a couple weeks ago. So I was like, that was good. Just seeing that we were able to, I didn't know anything about. I wasn't even on Twitter like that. I fell off of Twitter and I came back, and then being able to interact with people and be able to share that information just feels good giving back.
Yeah, it's one thing that y'all follow me on Twitter, even though I haven't been tweeting any security stuff lately, because I've been going through some changes, so I ain't really got security anything to relate to say anything.
You'll be back though.
Hopefully, but definitely the love from Twitter is much appreciated.
Very, very appreciated. So we got some stuff lined up. We're going to no, Justin's dropping his I'm joking.
I was about to say, yeah, so our goal is, even though we're wrapping up the season, we hope that you still tell your mama, cousin, whoever. There is 35 episodes?
30. This makes 35.
Yeah. So there's enough, more than half a year to get you through if you watch weekly. So we're definitely going to revamp some stuff. We want to finalize some stuff, put some finishing touches on stuff. Like, we didn't expect this to take off the way it did.
Yeah.
And this is a labor of love, but we still got to get our stuff together.
Yeah, we had an idea of how we wanted the show to go. We kind of deterred a little bit.
Yeah, we deterred.
We took a
hard left.
we're
So
gonna come back.
We want to come back. We want to make it better. We want to do interviews.
We want to come up with merch.
Ain't no merch. Okay.
Merch is on the way,
Ain't no
man.
merch. If you want merch, be sure to contact Trent and Trent only. Do not ask me nothing about merch.
We can get it. We can get it working.
It's
man.
not.
You don't want to secure this bag. It's okay.
No, I'm not trying. I don't want that stress at all.
We from Miami, man. We can make this work.
You from Miami?
Oh,
okay.
now you want to separate this? Okay.
I'm from Palm Beach. Okay, this Tri-County, but it's
okay.
It's not the same.
So when I use that back on you, don't be mad at me.
I mean, what negative can you say about Palm Beach?
Don't worry about it. We got.
You come with the hateration. Y'all come with the hateration. It's okay. I'm outnumbered. It's fine. But yeah, so we just taking a break, and we human. Like, and y'all heard me harp about grad school all season.
Yeah.
So grad school don't stop. I have not been able to take a break. So
you guys don't have spring breaks, do you?
Ain't no spring break. The only the breaks that I get is like a week or two.
Yeah, I remember.
And then
I was like,
back in it.
I was like, if undergrad's going spring break, that must mean I got spring break.
No. It's a whole different world, man.
Yeah, man.
It's a whole different world. So, Trent can finally catch up on his Taco Tuesdays that he's still not going to invite me to.
We're going to go. We're either doing Taco Tuesday or brunch. We already said that.
I'll promise you, there will be a way that he won't invite me. But I don't have my Instagram no more, so I can't check to see. You
gonna find someone who knows me to look at the Instagram.
I ain't checking for you like that. I know you're gonna do me dirty. It's okay. So
we got free Tuesdays now. We can't complain.
Pretty much. But even though we have our Tuesdays free, because we do record on Tuesdays, but we were gonna definitely be working.
Yeah, we're gonna be working. We're not just gonna be just pop right back up. We're gonna be working in the meantime.
But I'm tired.
Yeah.
So tired. And this has been definitely a big commitment, and I appreciate Trent and Justin for continuously showing up, especially in times when I just, every week it's like, I don't want to do this no more.
But it's good. It's like our weekly catch up.
Text me.
No, because things happen. Sometimes we don't text back. Sometimes I don't respond. You don't respond.
Because you be lying and deleting my text and say that I never text you, bro. It's okay.
I literally.
It's okay.
That's cool.
It's okay.
All right. You gonna lie for these people, but it's cool.
It's okay. That's how Trent be doing me.
You went off on me because you thought I didn't read a message.
It was not a went off. Okay. Did I even use an exclamation mark?
You said, I feel like we've already talked about this.
Because we did already talk about this.
You talked about it. It never got to my phone. But that's fine. So, but thank you for having me on. Thank you for making that call to Justin that one day.
It ain't been the same since.
Hey, we've been rocking ever since.
Yep. So, don't miss us too much, but just know we're definitely in the works of bringing something good.
Yeah.
But dang, this is gonna be the last time. You got church announcements? You want to let anybody know what you're gonna be working on while you away?
Well, No, because some of the stuff I'm working on is going to be surprise for the show. So
What
I
about
can't
like work wise, career wise? Well, not work wise, really career
career
wise.
wise. I don't know. I probably may start picking up my CISSP. I don't know. I'll talk to my
Okay.
boss about that. I have no idea.
I need to get on that too, but I have a training for that already set up.
Yeah, you see, we're supposed to have. You know what? That's okay.
Oh, don't do. I don't be having it. We're not gonna do that right now. No other church announcements.
No, I can't. Can't think of anything
I
in the
have.
meantime.
Yeah, I have nothing coming up other than trying to pass these grad
Oh wait, no, there
classes.
was something I did see. Well, it wasn't a church announcement, but Google exposed something. Let me see what that was.
We're gonna have a segment where we talk about new music.
Yeah, we definitely need to. Like, we talk about music all the time here.
Yeah.
Oh, Google Calendar users were a click away from a privacy disaster. Apparently,
Isn't that like every day with Google? Let me not say that.
no, I don't feel that's like every day with the one company
We won't talk about.
But yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, Microsoft did push out a security update for some some 0-day vulnerabilities with Microsoft Defender and IE.
I think our motto should just be patch everything. Welcome to
Whoa.
Partner Penetration, patch everything.
Patch everything, patch it, test it, and then push it out.
Test it.
Yeah,
And don't push anything on Fridays.
yeah. Get rid of IE, but that's another point.
Yeah. But dang, so this is our last sign
I know,
up for
man.
the season.
I guess one last time. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Jay,
And I'm T.
and that's it.